welcome
All right,
to
you start.
welcome to this week's you start. Welcome to this week's edition of the One Lane Road podcast. I'm getting the stinky face because I'm not supposed to say edition.
Yeah.
Tell us a long time ago to say edition.
I said that or you said that?
I don't care about
Somebody
stuff like
said
that.
it.
So obviously you said it.
Yeah. Why are you fighting your microphone so much? Is this better?
Struggling.
We're struggling today, folks.
We got two return guests tonight. Amber Harding from the Titans is going to call in. The former Titan, Bernard Pollard, is going to come in and give us a update on his Pro Scout 31 that he's working with. We're going to talk a little playoffs, and we're going to talk a whole lot of stuff, different stuff.
Is it Pro Scout 31 or my Pro Scout?
Well, we'll ask Bernard in about an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it my Pro Scout?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, it's not mine, so I didn't say it like that. So I got to hurry up and get home. My wife said she didn't want to fight the squirrel in the house.
Yeah, there's a terrible squirrel upstairs in the ceiling, apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's trying to chew its way through the ceiling.
Hey, man, you laugh, but we live in a log house, 2-story log house in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
On a mountain.
Granted, you do live in. If I was a squirrel out in the woods, I'd go, "That's the house I want to live in."
Yeah.
It's still in the woods. It's a log house.
Man, I'm not saying that I'm scared of squirrels, but I'm a little skeptical of squirrels, right? Because they got all kinds of diseases anyway.
Yeah.
So it was my old bedroom. It was Waylon's bedroom at the time after we moved back in that house. And I'm just
afraid of sketchy-ass squirrel.
Yeah, well, they are scary, man. And it wasn't just a regular squirrel. It was like a flying squirrel anyway. Yeah. I can't remember the first time it happened. I'm getting them mixed up. There's 2 different times this happened.
Yeah.
Let's just say it. We'll just tell it like I'm making this up.
Yeah.
The story. I can't remember the. Damn it!
Keep going.
I can't even talk right now.
Just keep going.
I've been selling stuff all day, trying to sell stuff all day. I've talked to myself on the radio. Sometimes when I get here, I'm so damn tired of hearing my own voice.
You've just been talking all day long?
Talking. Anyway, the first time it happened, I was in Waylon's room and something was moving up on his shelf, and it had been a big-ass squirrel.
Yeah.
So I tried to be the good Samaritan and just like get it with a broom and try to play nice with it.
Yeah. No.
It looked like our house had been broke into. Waylon's screaming. There's broken Legos all over the floor.
Yeah.
I finally picked up a cleat. I'd gotten a cleat from one of the players from him. It was on the shelf there. I want to say it was like a Michael Griffin cleat.
Yeah.
I finally just got tired. Like 15 minutes, just whacked the damn thing in the head.
Just got rid of that
killed
squirrel.
The squirrel.
Yeah.
That was the first time it happened. The second time, that is right. That's right. It was the first time. It was that time. Then the second time I was in there changing a light bulb, and I looked, the son of a gun was climbing in the window, just looked at me. And I didn't play. I didn't play around. I just went straight and got the cleat. Bam!
Get out of here.
So we do have squirrel problems, but that's been like 2 years ago.
But why are you under attack from the squirrel population around your house? What have you done to just make all these squirrels mad?
It's a good question. I don't speak squirrel. And I don't really. I don't know.
You're not a squirrel hunter by chance, are you?
No, I shot some with BB guns when I was little, but
so there you go.
It's a different breed, though. It's a different generation. So that's 30 years ago, 25 years ago.
So I'm gonna come in here and give you the plague.
I don't know, man, but it's frustrating. We don't have like anything else. We have mice occasionally, like everybody else does.
Yeah.
But squirrels, like who the hell has squirrel problems? You know?
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever heard of that.
Do you think Bill? What's that really annoying?
Dusty Kitty. Oh,
what's that guy? You know what I'm talking about? That idiot. Looks like he's from Kentucky or somewhere. Yeah, you do. The guy on TV, the exterminator. Guy.
Yeah. Not the Turtle Man, but
that is the Turtle Man.
Is it the Turtle Man?
I need him to come to North Springs
and get rid of your squirrels.
I'm not going to do it. We held hands.
Well, Lindsay ain't going to do it. She's done told you she ain't doing it.
Hurry home. We'll get this squirrel problem.
Hurry home. I don't want to fight the squirrel on that.
Just take the cleat upstairs.
They run away from the cleat.
I took the nun bush up there last night.
Did you?
She said there's squirrel. I said,
did it laugh at you?
I didn't see it. Oh. I didn't know that it existed. She sits in the wall. I can't believe it.
It died laughing. That's what it's doing right now. It's dying laughing at your nun bushes.
What about this? I look good.
You do look good tonight, though.
Yep.
Aside from the shoes, you look great.
The shoes make the
shoes.
Outfit.
The shoes do match the slacks
and the belt. No. What do you mean? What's wrong with damn slacks now?
Oh, nothing. They're cute.
I look good.
Yeah, match the haircut.
I'm about to quit. I'm about to walk off the podcast. I'm about to drop my resolution.
Yeah.
I'm about to F-bomb you right now. Podcast. I got told by a man that may take a bath once a week that I love immensely. I love this man. But to say he's rough around the edges is being generous.
An understatement.
And so for you guys listening, I started my sales job last week. So, of course, I've traded my jeans and my boots, and it worked to now wearing slacks.
Slacks and Nunbush.
And Nunbush badass dress shoes.
Right.
I need to be a sponsor for Nunbush.
Yeah, you do.
Anyway, so he comes up to me today and he goes, "You're going to have to lose the belly." He said, "Pat McCaffrey don't want no salesman with a beer gut, big gut." And what was it? How did I word that? The big age.
Oh, the middle-aged spread hits you like
the middle-aged spread got you.
Yeah.
It's got the best of you.
Yeah.
It is. It's 30. 30 gets the best of you.
Yeah, 30 gets the best of you, and it makes it harder to do everything, too.
He said, "By God, when I was your age, I was drinking liquor and eating Quaaludes. They don't even make Quaaludes no more."
Did you say, yeah, I can see that all over you?
Yeah. Poster child for Quaaludes right there.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about a little bit of sports before we get into everybody.
We're talking sports all the rest of the show.
Yeah. Well, let's talk some other sports besides what we're doing, because we're talking about NPC competitions, which is kind of up my alley a little bit with Amber. Which I'm sure you'll talk some Titans with her, but then we'll talk my pro scout with Bernard. But let's talk about Clemson and Alabama for a minute.
Instant classic.
Instant classic, man. The Alabama come out and just gave them that ball game after the halftime.
Yeah. Forgot to turn my microphone off. Yeah, I think a lot of people tweeted 14-0. They said, ball game, this is over, and everything else. And Alabama's been like that, but I actually had some good callers early on my radio show. One guy asked me, he called in, first-time caller. I was like, who's messing with me here?
Yeah,
I didn't really.
Which one of my buddies is?
Anyway, he asked you if it was because Lane Kiffin had been fired, one game.
Yeah.
Which is, it's kind of ridiculous when a person turns in there. I mean, like a lot of times, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator gets hired to do another program.
Yeah.
They'll finish out their fulfillments, then they'll go on.
Yeah.
Nick Saban had a change of plans, didn't want old Lane coming along.
What was it that Lane actually said that made Nick Saban so mad?
I don't know if he said it. He might have just been being Lane Kiffin.
Well, yeah, there you go.
It's enough to piss a man off usually.
Yeah.
The whole Eastern.
Well, Nick Saban didn't even let him in the arena.
Yeah.
Unless he bought his own ticket, he said.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't follow the story enough because I don't like either one of them. So,
right.
He asked if it was that. And I said, I thought it was kind of, you don't get off 14-0 start and then blame the lack of offensive coordinator in the second half. It just looked like they were playing to not lose instead of playing to win. They kind of took the foot off the pedal a little bit. And
well, that first half, they were coming out there and they were just wrecking Clemson. I mean, not just some of the most vicious tackles and hits ever. There was one guy got clotheslined. It was a beatdown there for the first half.
I'm ashamed to say I fell asleep. I wasn't one of the tired people on Tuesday morning. I told Lindsay, I said, as soon as I lay down this recliner, I'm done.
Yeah.
Sure enough, like 15 minutes later, I was asleep. Woke up at 1 a.m. and it's just that feeling,
Yeah.
I woke up and I was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Pissed. And luckily ESPN2 was showing the replay.
Yeah.
Already, or one of those ESPN channels. So I waited it out. And it was right towards the end already. So I got to catch the end of it. And man, it's going to be one they talk about for years and years to come. And Alabama's a young team, and they'll be there again next year probably.
Oh, yeah. If they bring back everybody, and there's none of their starters that are leaving this time, are there?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, their skill players won't. I mean, their running back and quarterback will be back, but they lose something every year.
Yeah,
Alabama's
got somebody going somewhere.
Just restock every year.
Yeah.
Clemson, they'll lose a lot. Their quarterback and wide receiver will both
go to the NFL.
They'll probably Mike Williams is probably a top 5 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Their wide receiver and the quarterback. I mean, he was top 20 from the drafts that I've seen, mock drafts. He might have, over 400 yards. He might have jumped up. There's a funny meme going around Facebook. It's like him being happy. This is the moment when you just win the national championship, and it's him sad and says, then you realize you're going to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns. So maybe he won't.
He's gonna fit really well into what they're trying to get into. You was talking about exotic smash mouth football. He's gonna fit pretty well into that bit there because he's a pretty good rusher, isn't he?
Well, no, I was meaning the receiver earlier.
Oh, whoa.
I mean, we're pretty good at quarterback.
Yeah.
Obviously with
Yeah.
with Marcus. I mean, well, when his legs get healed back, but yeah, the receivers who I was talking about, Big Mike Williams.
No, I meant just in the NFL in general about if the whole team, if the whole league starts going over to exotic smash mouth, that QB will be good in there.
Oh yeah. Sorry, in Cleveland, I mean, they need a lot.
Yeah.
They're pitiful.
Yeah, maybe he'll be a good place for him to start.
Yeah, I mean, if they get that, then I mean, if they get the number one overall pick, and then a lot of people are looking at Myles Garrett, defensive player out of A&M. Then you get him as a quarterback. I mean, that's a pretty good little combination in one round of draft pick. So we'll see. I don't know. It was a lot of people saying it surpassed the Vince Young Texas versus USC game from 2006 as one of the greatest college games of all time. I just couldn't go back, and it didn't mean as much once I knew what happened to go back at 1 o'clock in the morning and watch it. So sorry if I'm not acting excited about it. Just that replay it 4 hours later wouldn't
quite the same. Yeah. Well, what happened around the NFL this week?
We'll probably just save the NFL for
Bernard.
Yeah, later on. See if that's what he wants to talk about a little bit.
All right.
We did have some local news though. Seth Carlisle,
guest of the show,
one of our guests, Seth, hit the 1,000-point mark in basketball this week. So
that's amazing.
It is.
He's a hell of an athlete.
Yeah. Basketball, football, of course.
A little bit of everything.
He gets more publicity, I guess, on the football field.
Yeah.
And probably, well deserved for that. But he's a pretty good basketball player. And they finally got Clay County the other night.
Yeah.
Clay County beat them the first 2 times. And they finally ended the streak.
Do you know what the score finally was?
I want to say 77-70. I think they held Tyreek in check, maybe 30 points or something. 27.
Yeah.
So that when they meet again, if they meet again, I don't know if they will. I guess they won't. Unless it's somewhere in a tournament somewhere.
Right.
But Macon County plays them hard, so congratulations, Seth, on 1,000-point mark. It's something to be proud of. I mean, Tyreek is liable to have 3,000 if he breaks Joey Coe's record. I think Joey Coe's son said the record was his record was 29.94 or something.
That's a bunch of points.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
And Joey's quick to point out that was before the 3-point line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know what Tyreek. I hadn't been following it as closely the last 2 or 3 weeks. So
is he quick to point out whether he dunked as many as Tyreek has or not?
I ain't saying. I don't know about that now, but Joey's light you up quick.
Yeah.
I've seen him play many times. So.
Yeah.
Did you have any feedback from the show last week, much?
I had a little bit. We got a bunch of new followers on social media, and had some bunch of new views, and obviously we've had a bunch of people going back and watching all the other shows. Our numbers reflecting, going back and looking at it, that a bunch of people's went back and listened to every one of our shows this week.
That's awesome. And I always try to tell new listeners or people that I'm reaching out to for the show, I said, don't mind our YouTube numbers.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the least used. And I think a lot of our people are just sitting at home on their laptop or something.
Might click on it.
Sees our link. Yeah, they'll click on it. And we're going to get views that way. But overall, iTunes and Stitchers.
Yeah, that's where we get most of them at. And they've been really good this past week, man. There's a lot of people out there listening right now.
Yeah. I think last week a combination of a musician that's hungry to establish a name for himself. And then it was honestly humbled.
Yeah.
And I talked to him previously. I talked to him 15, 20 minutes before we had him online when I was on the way home. And I told him I didn't feel him full. I said, man, we're just 2 guys trying to start this thing up from scratch. And I said, we're happy to have you. We're happy to get your name out there. And so he appreciates, like you said, keep fighting the good fights, what he told us. And we got several new followers on Twitter and I think on our Instagram also.
Yeah, and he was such a good interview too, and like his music holds up so well to almost everybody I've let listen to it. So I've been playing his record for everybody that's asked anything about him. So I've played it probably 15, 20 times in last week. So everybody loves his music too. So a great musician, good things he's got going on there.
If anybody doesn't know, we're talking about Chris Stalk up in the Grange. You can hear his music. Go back and listen to last week's episode and hear him talk. We played his song, Downhearted Fools. We downloaded the album, both of us did. So, hey, that was glad to have him on. He's sending us T-shirts, too. He asked what size T-shirts we wore. So
good.
Another musician we've had on, and this is a quote from a text message I've had from our buddy Thad. He texted me yesterday morning, said, what's it say in the dog song? And referencing Justin Wells. song on Dawn in the Distance, the Dogs. He said, what's it say in the Dogs song after it says, we are the dogs that crawl for miles on no legs? And I said, yeah, I think so. He said, no, he belts out something after he says that, LOL, and I can't understand what he says. And I said, well, I have to listen to it. I was getting ready for work and forgot about it. So I text Justin when I got to your house.
Yeah.
And then he says, we're the dregs.
Yeah.
Explain the dregs.
The dregs is the bottom feeders, the bottom of society, the losers. We're the people that get picked last. We're that group that was, if there's 12 or number 13, that's the dregs. That's the bottom.
And I said, well, that's exactly how it sounds. He went, I'm sure, smiley face.
And from such a big guy, smiley face is kind of ridiculous. If y'all get a chance, go on YouTube and look at Justin Wells' new video for the Dogs.
Can we play that song today on this podcast, you think?
Well, I don't know why we couldn't.
Can we do it right now on this spot?
Yeah, we can.
We're going to play this. We're not going to play it now. We're going, when the time you listen to it, we're going to insert it.
Yeah, we'll insert it right here.
The reason I want to play it is because it was named SavingCountryMusic.com's song of 2016.
Yeah.
And I thought we didn't do Justin any justice when he was on our show, that we've played everybody else's songs. It seems like it's come on.
Yeah.
Whether Josh Morningstar or whoever, we played their music, and all the local guys too. So yeah, man, I think I like to play that.
Yeah, that's good. We'll check with him and make sure it's okay.
I
do want to go ahead and correct both of you, though. We're the dog that crawled for miles on broken legs. Yeah.
No, I know that.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't know. I didn't pay attention to the text when I said think so. I didn't even know what the hell he was talking about to start with. And I'm sure Thad knows too, but he just was. I wish Justin would have corrected me. It'd been a lot cooler if he'd have corrected me. Hey, and another bit of news. Travis Humphrey.
Yep. That's some big news.
And we can't tell all of it, but he's negotiating some stuff, and his song "Coming Home" that we played. We did play that song.
Yeah, we did play.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was "Coming Home" or which one it was. But he's going to be. And first off, Travis, you talk about the iPhone world being terrible. I'm not going to embarrass you right here on live on the podcast, but I want you to know.
His cell phone he's probably got one of those Samsungs that blow up, and it might have blew up during the middle of him texting.
I think I got 8 text messages, and not a damn one of them is in line with the one before it says. So I'm trying to sound out your text messages and read back. And, boy, I could light you up right now if I wanted to. Hey, but I read your tirade and your rant prior to this going on about I don't want to end up on the bad side of Travis Humphrey
tirade rant,
6-paragraph rant on Facebook. But he's got the potential of a pretty well-known country star, and we can't say who legally yet. Coming Home, which is an awesome song.
It's an awesome song.
But he wants us to tell everybody, shit, if I can read this, I don't even know if I can fix this together. He'll be at the Last Chance Saloon every Tuesday. Man, I can't even. In Collins River Barbecue, that's in McMinnville, the third week of the month. So he's all over the place. He's doing some songwriting, some studio deals, and Travis, buddy, I'd love to put you over a little bit more, but get an Apple iPhone, and I will put you over. But this Samsung stuff you sent me it's the drizzling shits, my friend. So I can't even read that. But hey, I do hope that that works out. I know he messaged me Monday, showed me where he was going. I was like, oh man, that's awesome, and pretty well respected. Real country singer that's going to cut it.
Oh, yeah. If this guy cuts it, it's going to be one that everybody's going to enjoy because everybody's going to remember him for sure.
You know who else was a big hit? And I think we got a lot of views. We got a lot of listens last week because old Brad Craggett was in the studio.
Yeah, old Bradley Reed was in here, yeah. He was pretty good, too.
Yeah. I listened back to it the next morning. I didn't even listen to it that night when you posted it. I always like to run back that one time. And that was Brad with just a couple drinks and then just
pretty mild Bradley.
Our wife should give us something because we left.
I've said separately, didn't go anywhere. Went straight home.
Yeah, it was so cold, man. I didn't want to do nothing.
It was miserable that night.
Yeah. So the next time that Lindsay or Becky, either one, wants to throw anything in our face, just know that there might have been beverages consumed during the participation of this podcast.
And then neither one of them left together.
So we left to go home.
Yeah.
Because Brad had the monster truck rally to go to the next day.
Yeah.
I felt like some damn deadbeat bum that lays here and gets a crazy check and draws food stamps or something for don't work for nothing all weekend.
Oh, yeah?
On Sunday, Lindsay said, have you been, did you get out of the house? I said, I ain't been off this couch much more since I come home from the podcast Friday night. I'm the dregs this weekend. I'm the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to make it sound like I was making fun of all that stuff. I'm just talking about like the losers that can work and don't work.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not trying to make fun of people. I definitely am throwing shade at you people that can work and won't work.
Yeah.
Because you suck.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of supporting you, and Lucas is tired of supporting you. So get to work.
Yeah.
Unless your both legs are broke. Get your ass to work.
I mean, there's desk jobs out there. You can do something.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and let's play Justin's song. And then we'll come back and we'll call Amber.
Yep.
It's a nasty way of living sometime. My jar ain't holding a single dime. My glass is holding the last thing I wanna do. I'm gonna drink every dime I make tonight. I'll die just to get a room. It's a bad, bad business, this trying to forget you. Well, our souls are a little older, but you can't tell and learn to think. If there's 12 that got invited, we're 13. We're the last one to know it's over, and the first one to have to beg. We're the dog that crawled for miles on broken legs. We're the dregs. I've pawned everything I've ever owned just to drive 8 hours to this barroom show, to play these songs and to pray for a friendly face. It ain't easy acting like it ain't personal, and the band asked me not to curse no more. So I sing all the sad ones and lean on these mad ones, okay. Well, our souls are a little older, but you can't tell and learn a thing. If there's 12 that got invited, we're 13. We're the last one to know it's over, and the first one to have to beg. We're the dog that crawled for miles on broken legs. We're the dregs. Now the parking lot is an old ghost town. No evidence anyone has ever been around, except a handful of gravel and a half pint of something mean. So I retreat somewhere and cover my wounds and pray to God that the checkout's new. If there's any luck left, it'll be halfway clean. Well, our souls are a little older, but you can't tell and learn a thing. If there's 12 that got invited, we're 13. We're the last one to know
I hope you guys dig that song, man. It's Justin Wells, The Dogs. You can find that song on Dawn in the Distance, which is available, of course, on iTunes and on justinwellsmusic.com.
Yeah, fantastic song. Really like that song. We've referenced it, no telling how many times. Almost every musical guest we've had on here, I've referenced it, and you've referenced it. Fantastic song. Glad he got an award.
Yeah, well, just
Well deserved.
A lot of people follow that website, Saving Country Music, so that was cool of them, and it was well deserved. So
well deserved.
And we're about to call Amber Harding, our return guest. She may be our first return guest. It's not named Jeremy Mackey, James Hatcher,
Yeah.
I think.
Hello.
Amber, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you fellas doing?
We're doing good.
Was that the longest 2 minutes you've ever had to wait for anything?
That was it must have been a really good song.
It was
or
a
really long song.
really good song is what it was. We had to play it twice almost.
You know, we're a little slower down here in these parts, so.
I know. I'm big city Nashville. So
Yeah, you're
my
uptown.
tune is a heck of a lot faster than yours.
What do you got going on tonight?
Oh, I have a really exciting night. I just got done kickboxing, and now I'm going to go home and cook dinner and probably fold some laundry.
Man, that's
an exciting night right there.
It's that big city Nashville life. I'm telling you, it's way more exciting.
Well, we've heard you've got a competition coming up. What are you doing?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I'm crazy. Just to put it out there, I'm nuts. So I've always been kind of like a freak about working out, and I decided to take it to the next level this year, and I'm going to do an NPC competition, which is when I tell people about it, like it's kind of awkward because it's technically a bikini competition, but when most people think bikini competitions, they think like drunk at a pool in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's not. Unfortunately, it's not that fun. But it should be really cool. It's going to be a huge challenge, and I'm probably going to be unbearable for a couple months while I get ready for it.
That's for sure. Especially when you start cutting out carbs and start getting down to contest weight, you're going to be a real pain to be around.
Oh, absolutely. See, I'm like really delightful right now because they've got me eating. My coach has me eating so much food. I eat 6 meals a day. I'm at 1,800 calories. I just eat all the time, and it's fantastic. But it's not going to stay like that the entire time.
So I'm a little bit of an NPC follower. So which competition is it that you're doing?
Well, I'm planning on doing a few, actually. My first one is going to be the Battle on the Bluff, which is in Tunica, Mississippi, at a casino. So that should be fun. And that's May 6th. That's going to be my first one. And then there's a local one in Nashville on June 17th that I want to do, and then maybe another one in Mississippi on June 3rd. It depends on how much I like it and how much I'm willing to or how long I'm willing to, go without carbs and all that stuff.
That's pretty close together, back to back to back for, getting into contest shape. How are you planning on keeping your shape that long?
Honestly, I don't know. That's why I have a coach, because my coach tells me what to do and I do it. So I don't really know, but I do know I think it's easier to maintain that once you're there, rather than have a contest that's really if you have one months apart, you got to go through it all over again.
Right.
So I don't really know all the logistics of it. I think the scariest part for me is that spray tan that I'm going to have to get.
Yeah.
I'm not really looking forward to looking like a burnt turkey leg.
Yeah.
But,
Brutal.
Wash that off in the hotel before you go back to your place to wash that off.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Because, I know I'm not going to be able to get it all off, but I want to get enough of it off that, when I go out in public, people won't stare at me like I'm an alien.
Yeah. So who are you working with for this competition?
I'm working with it's a husband and wife duo. It's called Team Haynes, but their names are Tony and Valerie. And they're badasses themselves. They're incredible. They're I don't know how many competitions they've won and been in, but they're awesome. And the group of people that I'm with is really fun too. We had our first check-in on Sunday, and it was a little nerve-wracking. We're at this gym, and there's this giant room surrounded in mirrors. All the walls are mirrors, and we all had to walk in there in bikinis and heels. And none of us are ready yet. Obviously, I'm 16 weeks out. I am in no way ready for the stage. But we had to do it anyway, and but everybody's really cool, and most of the girls have done it before, so it's kind of nice to be surrounded by people who know what they're doing a lot more than I do.
Any names that we might know, or I might know?
I honestly
that was a shot at my lack of fitness. if you didn't catch that sarcasm in Lucas's voice.
You don't think DK's into the NPC scene?
I really doubt it.
Yeah, Lucas said me and Amber are really gonna have a lot to talk about with this because I'm really into these
fitness competitions.
Yeah, but you were like referencing the bathing suits and like
yeah.
It just didn't. It was creepy. It was creepy for a minute.
Yeah, he's trying to throw me under the bus now.
The suits are a big part of it.
That's a huge part of it, right?
Today. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you have to have somebody make your suit, or are you buying one off the shelf and going to modify it?
I haven't gotten that far yet because my coach tells me we probably won't even start that until 4 to 5 weeks out because the suit will not be anywhere close to fitting me at this point. Yeah. So I just kind of like been looking generically at suits. You know, there's like a company that my coach recommends, so I was kind of looking through there. I'm probably going to have to get it modified, but it'll probably be one that I buy off the shelf and have somebody alter. But I'm thinking I'm going with blue. I think that's what I've decided, like a light blue, like kind of an aqua blue, like not Titans blue, unfortunately. Like unless the Titans wanted to sponsor me and get me a 2-tone blue suit,
there you go.
I'll totally do it. But I don't think I'm going to be able to talk to Boston about one.
Well, if they do, get them to get you one of those $5,000 or $6,000 suits instead of one off the shelf.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not going to be in my budget. I don't think I'm going to have a diamond-studded $1,000 suit. So
yeah, that's real exciting. Now, how did you pick bikini over some of the other areas? I know you're big into fitness, and like you said, you just got off done doing kickboxing. How did you pick that over physique or fitness?
Honestly, I just like the look better, and I could probably get pretty close to doing figure. I'm pretty muscular, but I don't like that look. I like the leaner look. It's going to be harder for someone like me to accomplish, but I just like that look more. It's
a real interesting look as compared to what people think of when they think of bodybuilding competitions. So a lot of people get to those NPC shows, and there's a bunch of big guys around, and pretty jacked girls too. But the bikini competitors are really slender, real slender arms. Really undefined legs generally, as far as what you would think of whenever it comes to a bodybuilder. And a lot of other undefined features, real womanly, and that's a big part of the judging on those competitions.
It really is, but it's funny because like I've looked around and looked at some competitions, and then I was talking to my coach, and he was saying it really depends on
the judges.
It depends on the individual judges, and what they're looking for. Because I have a lot more muscle tone than a typical girl in the bikini division, but that's not a disadvantage, and that's not an advantage. It's one of those that it really depends on what the judge is looking for. They don't like skinny. I know that. They don't want to see the ribs, but there's also a difference between the way you look in figure and the way you look in bikini. Although this is the first year they're actually allowing crossovers. So if somebody really wanted to compete in both divisions, they're allowed to do so.
Well, that's neat. So, talking about the differences in the body shape, you look at somebody like India Paulino that's been in the bikini competitions for a very long time now. She's, one of the headliners of the competitions. She's got that real slender look that's, which only got her third place back in Olympia, but, she's won that before. And then you look at somebody like Ava Cowan that done it for a long time, and she's iconic in the fitness industry. She was actually a bikini competitor at one point in time, and she moved on to figure later on, two completely different shapes there, and with Ava in the bikini competition, she was much more muscular, and at that point in time, that's what they were looking for.
Yeah, and honestly, I think because they're starting to allow crossovers and stuff, I think those two divisions are getting closer and closer. I think they're going to end up to the point where they're either one division or they're one and the same. Because with so many women not knowing what they want, especially when they go into it first, like me, and you don't necessarily know everything. Like, well, if someone tells you, why don't you cross over and try it? You just never know.
Yeah.
How it's all going to play out, and so I feel like those two different divisions are going to kind of mold together at some point.
there's so many different divisions in NPC right now. You know, they've added the classic physique to the men's bodybuilding competitions, which is really interesting. You know, they're trying to get away from that big, muscular, distended belly look that they have sometimes now and get back to more of that classic physique. So I kind of see those divisions coming together at some point in time. Obviously, they'll have to get away from the monster bodybuilders, you know, get that division out of there finally, and then get some of those smaller guys that are more aesthetic in there. And so I think there's a lot of the actual divisions that are going to come cross over and come together at some point in time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I'm excited.
I'm having a milkshake right now. So throw that in.
I just ate my fourth meal of the day in my car. So I'm
living that
doing good.
Tupperware life, huh?
Oh, I am. You should see this gigantic cooler I have. It's awesome. It's a great bag, and it carries 6 meals. And I bring it with me every day. And my boyfriend actually makes fun of me. He goes, "Oh, there you are with your suitcase of food." But it's necessary. If I don't bring it, if I don't have all my food with me, I'm not going to stay on track. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you carrying? A 6-pack fitness bag?
It's I don't want to give anybody a free advertisement, but it's an ISO bag.
Oh, okay.
And
we do it every week. We don't get paid.
We don't get paid. Go ahead.
Well, if ISO bag wants to sponsor me too.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
But I'm not really kidding. But no, for real, it's an awesome bag, and I bring it with me everywhere. And I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling here in the next couple months, and so it's going to really come in handy because that's when it's going to be a challenge. Right now, when I'm at home and then I'm sitting at my desk and all that, getting my 6 meals a day is really easy. It's going to get a lot harder when I'm on a plane and in hotels and being tempted by good restaurants in other cities.
Yeah, I'll tell you what will help you out a lot is that eating in the car, getting used to doing stuff like that to where you're not used to sitting down and stuff like that. The more you can seclude yourself and, eat like that, that'll make that easier whenever you go out to places like that. It's not going to be easy. I don't want to sugarcoat it at all, and you know it better than I do since you're doing it.
Right.
But what's some of the things that you're having to eat right now? What do they got you on?
Oh, man. My meal plan changes every 2 weeks, but right now I have to eat egg whites and oats every morning. I love oats. Any excuse to eat a bowl full of carbs, I'm down. I love oats. I hate egg whites. I hate egg whites than anything in the world. I can't. Yes, I get the gag reflex when I eat egg whites. I still eat them every morning like I'm supposed to, but I hate them.
That's interesting that you get it from the egg whites and not the oatmeal. Most people can't eat the oatmeal.
Oh, I love oatmeal.
Really?
Like I said, a bowl full of carbs is always
just pure energy, just sitting there, pure energy in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. And then my remaining meals of the day are all 4 ounces of lean protein with a cup of vegetables, and then 3 of those meals also have carbs, whether that be a half cup of brown rice, 4 ounces of sweet potato, something like that. And then right before bed, I have to eat 4 ounces of fish and a cup of broccoli and some almonds. And the fish right before bed is because fish digests really quickly, so it doesn't sit in your stomach all night.
Yeah.
Well, I knew Lucas was. We always wonder what Lucas's passion on this show is, and of course, mine's the sports and the music. And I never knew. I've known Lucas for at least 25 years.
Yeah.
I never knew you were that in tune with women's fitness. You were dropping names
Yeah.
I'm Googling names over here. I can't even keep up with the names he was dropping.
Oh, man, this is
awesome.
This is something that I've been watching for years. I'm a closeted bodybuilding watcher. You know,
well,
I've been since the first time I seen Jay Cutler on the cover of Muscle and Fitness magazine. I've been in.
Not the prick quarterback.
Not the football Jay Cutler.
No.
Yeah.
to me, the real Jay Cutler, the king of bodybuilding, besides Ronnie Coleman.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. Well, I don't want to keep beating it to death, but how did you actually get into it? What was the catalyst that made you actually decide to do it?
I just wanted a big challenge. I'm not, 2 years ago, I guess it was 2014. Yeah, no, 3 years ago. Oh boy. 3 years ago, I decided out of the blue I was going to run a half marathon. I've never been a runner. I'm not built like a runner. I like to lift weights. But I decided I'm going to do it. And I did it. I trained really hard. I did really well. I didn't win or anything, but I wasn't expecting to. But you know what I mean? I did really well. I was really proud of myself, and I was like, I am never doing that again. But I was so proud of myself for doing it. And so then this time I'm like, all right, what's the next like big goal I can reach? And then so this is, and I've kind of always been like had that fascination with it, kind of like you, Lucas. Like I follow it on Instagram. Like I was telling DK, I have like a separate Instagram account for all my fitness stuff, so I don't like annoy my friends.
Yeah.
And so, but I follow a bunch of fitness people on there and a bunch of like really fit girls. And if people saw me like randomly like looking through my Instagram, they'd probably think I was some kind of weirdo because it's just like a bunch of like aesthetic women.
Oh yeah, I get. I've had that unfortunate that eye to eye look after you scan through Instagram and. You know, that next big guy, you know, just standing there. Michael Hearn's never got a shirt on for whatever reason. I've always got Michael Hearn pulled up whenever somebody walks through, and it's always awkward.
Shit's getting weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you just gotta embrace it.
Yeah.
But I've always kind of been fascinated by it, and then I know some people who go to my kickboxing gym who do it, and that's how I met my coach. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's try it. Let's do it in the off season when I don't have football to worry about. And if it's like my half marathon and I do it and I hate it and I never want to do it again, at least I'll be proud of myself and I'll be able to say I did it.
Yeah.
But I may love it. Who knows?
Well, have you seen DLB whenever she was doing the run up to the Olympia? All of her videos, I'm sure you have. But you know, she puts together a pretty nice set of videos that goes over what it's like through all that struggle.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting watch. You know, it really gives you an insight into what you girls are what you're gonna go through, and what most of these girls that do this go through.
Well, and that's key. You know, like misery loves company, and having a group of girls who are doing it with me, who know exactly how it feels to be carb depleted or to wake up at 5 a.m. to go do your cardio with no food, like. It's helpful. As weird as it is, like it's almost fun to have people going through that with you.
Somebody to share the pain with.
Yeah, exactly. Like that sounds really weird, but it's true. And without those people, I don't know that I could do it. I mean, I have very supportive friends and family, but like they're not doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and at some point in time, it's going to come down to you're going to be just miserable. And your family and friends aren't going to understand why you continue to do it, but it's going to be important for those friends that are going through it with you to be there so that you don't back out of it when everybody's telling you, it's all right, you don't have to do it, you've done great so far.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And even now, like, like I'm still 16 weeks out, so I have a wiggle room right now. But I'm still trying to, like, be almost perfect.
Yeah.
But, over the weekend, I go out with my friends, like everybody's ordering drinks, and like I had like one, maybe 2 drinks, and they're all like, "Why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you drinking? Get to another one." And I'm like, "I can't, guys."
Yeah. You start moving.
It's gonna get to the point, especially when I start cutting, where I'm not gonna be able to drink anything other than water.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be able to eat anything except specifically what's on my list. So it's kind of like. You have friends who support you, but then when it comes down to like having fun and you don't want to eat nachos with them or you don't want to drink whiskey with them, then it's a different story.
Yeah, you'll start ordering that extra dry wine and everybody will be looking at you like, what in the hell is she doing? And then next thing you know, you're just drinking water with them.
Yeah, that's the face I'm already making. That's the face I've been making for like 20 minutes. No, all seriousness, I think it's awesome what you're doing. Seeing you talk about your workouts, and I'm sure you'll do well. You're hard the work as you put in the gym every day and everything. But that sucks. I was going to invite you guys down to a big barbecue cookout and 3 keg party in May. Now that's shot out of hell.
Oh, well, I can come. I'll show up with my Tupperware.
Yeah. And, sit in the corner with your plastic fork and eat your rice.
Luckily, I've got experience.
Exactly. But you know what? By May, my 6-pack may be in like full blast.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be so happy with myself, I might not want your barbecue.
You joke about that, but we actually had a friend a few years ago. We'd all have cookouts and get-togethers, and when William was working out real hard, we would have hamburgers and hot dogs, grill whatever, and all have our beer and whiskey, and he would bring Tupperware bows and his gallon jug of water to the cookouts.
Yeah, he'd have a good old time sitting over there eating the biggest bowl of rice you've ever seen in your entire life. I mean, it was bigger than he was.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. And
do
eventually, every 2 weeks, I have to step into that room full of mirrors in a bikini with a bunch of other girls, and I'm going to remember that every time I think about having something bad, I'm going to think about that room full of mirrors.
Yeah. So that's the real interesting part about this. You go from being known for, your content, what you're saying and everything, but that really has nothing to do with this contest. You're going to be judged solely on your body, and that's a real interesting place to be. How do you feel about that?
It's gonna be weird for sure, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's one of those that like I don't really have any expectations at this point. I just want to do the best that I can do.
Yeah.
And if I love it and I want to keep competing and I want to get more serious, that's great. But if not, then it's a good try, and
yeah.
I did it, and I can go back to drinking wine all the time.
Well, that's super interesting. I'd love to have you back on whenever we get closer to the competition date to have a check-in, see how it's going.
Yeah, for sure. Just don't talk to me about like pizza or anything like that, because by that point I'm going to be really, really edgy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so everybody knows, that listens to our show knows you from in the past and knows what you've done and what you do. So, social media coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. So, season went by pretty fast this year, it seems like, right?
Oh, it flew by. I feel like just yesterday we were hanging out at training camp.
Yeah. So, missed the playoffs. How's the culture in Nashville that you've seen from training camp until the last game of the season against the Texans? How's the fan base receive the team this year?
It's awesome. It's night and day from last year. Like, there's a lot of like, yay, PR pump up train about like the Titans culture change and stuff, but it's true. Like from everyone in the building can feel it. It's completely different this year, and it's not just the wins. It's a whole different mentality. And the fans, like we all kind of got our hopes up there at the end. The Titans accomplished more than anybody thought they were ever going to this year, and then we beat Denver. Then we beat Kansas City, and everyone suddenly thought playoffs, Super Bowl, all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a reality check in Jacksonville, and that really sucked. It ruined everyone's Christmas. It was really upsetting. But then we came back, put up like a strong showing against Houston, and we finished 9-7. And nobody ever thought that we were going to do that. And so our fans, are surprisingly positive. After that Jacksonville game, they were not. I was that was not a fun time to be on Twitter.
Yeah.
But after that Houston game, it's like there's so much optimism in Nashville, and there's so much excitement around this team and what we're building here. So it's a really good time to be a Titan.
Well, what have you got looking out for the draft this year? I've got some notes here from Dustin, but what's the talk around the locker room about the draft coming up?
Well, our general manager would not tell us anything.
Really?
Ever. It is John is, if those conversations are being had, but I can assure you that I'm not part of it.
No, you ain't out there tweeting out to try to get somebody over to the Titans right now then?
No, we're not like, college fans tweeting at recruits or anything like that. We're not doing that. So honestly, I have no idea what John's cooking up, but it's hard telling with him. With all the trades he made last year, right now we're sitting, in the first round, we're sitting at number 5 and number 18.
Mm-hmm.
By the time the draft comes around, who knows where we'll be. That's just, but I trust anything that he does. So have that. He's like a mad scientist.
Well, fantastic. Well, I wish you luck on your competition. Like I said, I'd love to have you back on whenever you get the opportunity. I don't want to say when you're in agony, but I'd love to see if the personality's still around when it starts getting into the those short rows. But I'm excited for you. It's something I've always wanted to get out there and try to do. Never done it. Obviously not the bikini competition. I always wanted to get into an NPC competition.
I know.
No, nobody'd like to see me in heels. That's for sure. But but we appreciate you coming on tonight and talking with us, and good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you. Anytime.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Amber Harding from the Tennessee Titans. Had to run out of the interview. Had to run outside. And took a minute longer than I thought I was going to have to. And come back, and the interview was over.
Yeah. So, well, it was a good interview. Unfortunately for most of our listeners, I can't talk football as in depth as you can. So.
Yeah, that was I should have probably went outside
during our
to do what I need
rant.
to do. While y'all were talking about fitness, that I had no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
So if anybody that liked Amber's interview, Amber's always a great guest.
Yeah, great follow too. If you're in the Titans and fitness, follow that chick.
Yeah, and if anybody, like I said, good luck to her on her competition.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to go back and listen to her episode, I don't know what episode she was on. Just
20 somewhere.
Yeah, just look back at our page, and that was we kind of cut up a little bit more with her that first time. You could see her personality, but man, she's gonna kill that competition. I'm sure the way she gets after it.
Oh yeah, she's a hard worker, definitely a hard worker. So she's gonna do well in that competition. So excited for her. That's a big step, going and doing the competition wise.
That takes a lot of work, man.
A lot of work in that.
I'm sure she can do it.
Well, we got our other guest coming on now. It's got Bernard Pollard coming on. You want to go ahead and give him a call?
Yeah, Bernard Pollard. For guys that don't know him, he's former Titan. Also, then he worked. He played for Kansas City, the Texans, and won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. So Bernard does a little work out of Nashville. So we're going to be calling him and talking about his projects.
Hello?
Hey, Bernard, what's going on, brother?
And I'm chilling, bro. How you doing?
I'm good. How'd your workout go tonight?
Dude, it was good, man. Had a good group of kids, man. I'm actually about to post that on my Facebook and everything else, man. I'm excited with what we're doing, man. I'm trying to turn this little high school thing, as far as training these high school kids, man, turn it around, because we have too many kids that are they don't understand the game. They don't understand their position, and it's showing. And I mean, we're sending freaking these kids, man. We're throwing them to the wolves, these colleges, and everybody talk about they 4 or 5 stars. Well, you find out real quick they don't last in college because they're not used to competing. They're not used to the coaching. They're not used to the, like just the drills and actually playing the position. So they fall dropping like flies, man. So I'm excited about this.
The other thing about those high school kids is they get too wrapped up in the lifting of the weights and stuff too. It's good to be strong, and you have to be strong when you get on to college. But if you're doing it too quick and too hard, it's really impeding their performance.
Well, yeah, it's stiffening a lot of the kids up. So if a lot of high schools, they don't have the strength and conditioning coach to make sure they're proportionally putting on the muscle. So that's what screws a lot of these kids up, because these jokers walk around like they got a doggone brick up their butt.
Yeah,
and I'm like, God. Man.
Oh, hey, man, just for our listeners that may not listen to our first show with you or may not be familiar, plug your stuff. Just let our listeners know what is it you're talking about, what program you're talking about.
Well, the big thing with myproscout.com, man, we are a group of NFL players who we've taken the time to evaluate high school football players' game film instead of highlight film. And one of the reasons we are doing this is because we have so many kids that are lost they get lost at the college level, or they have a lack of understanding of football at the high school level. So as I've said before, we're throwing these kids to the wolves, and they don't understand the position that they play. They don't understand how good they are. They don't know what their strengths and their weaknesses are, and they're not used to competing every day. So, the system that we're in right now, we have, websites that are blogging about these kids, giving them stars. Well, at the end of the day, what does these stars mean? This blog, what does this mean? But we have these kids wrapped up, around these stars, and what they have to realize is you can't take those stars to college, and nobody's evaluating. Everybody's saying, well, let me look see a highlight film. Well, the highlight film is perfect. There's no mistakes on the highlight film.
Exactly.
And I mean, we can see the mistakes on the highlight film, but the biggest thing is we want to properly evaluate you, and the only way we can properly evaluate you is by looking at your game film. So we want to bring that that mentality that the NFL holds. The NFL is a $15 million business, and $15+ million, or $15 billion. I said the wrong one. $15 billion. My bad. But you look at it, it's a $15 billion business for a reason. They evaluate the talent before they bring it in, and that's why it's like, I think it's 1.3% of the players that will make it in the National Football League, and it's that way for a reason. And we just want to bring this concept by evaluating these kids, giving them the strengths and weaknesses of their game, and helping them. Because if they know, once they have their evaluation in front of them, every time they watch film now, when they practice, it's in the back of their head of, okay, I need to get better. I did this bad. I need to do this better. And we're all about helping, and we come in cheaper. We're far more cheaper than any recruiting service out there, any evaluation service out there, and we're actually evaluating the game film. So I'm excited about it, and we can't wait to get it to blow this thing up.
There's a lot of talent out there that gets kind of overwhelmed because, nobody's being realistic and truthful with them whenever they're young. And then something like this can really possibly bring more talent out that might have been there but got washed out.
Well, and you're definitely correct. If you look at these kids, you have so many guys that are being overlooked because the hype is, okay, well, I want to have that database of the 300 guys that these people are blogging about, the 300 guys that have the most stars. And it's just like, okay, well, those 300 guys, once they get to college, they're not used to competing every day. They're not used to not having their name in the paper. They're not used to, not being a man on the team. And so they lose sight of it. And I mean, they fall by the wayside. But it's those guys that grind. And I think you guys, as you guys seen it Monday night, everybody talk about this kid that went to Clemson, was a 2-star player. All he did was work. He earned a scholarship, 4 touchdowns in 2 years and 90-something yards the other night. It's just, if you keep your nose to the ground and just keep grinding and knowing, understanding your strengths and your weaknesses, you're going to make it. And I mean, and not to say that these big guys are making it, but I read a stat. We have over 1,077,000 players, high school football players, and only 71,000 of them will even play college football. Why is the drop off? There's a reason for the drop off. We're throwing these kids to these colleges and throwing them to the wolves, and they're not making it, so they're quitting or they're transferring or they just get an education. And the game of football is the game of football is so good that we need to help the talent, help hone them skills in, and by properly evaluating their game film and not let these people come in and brainwash them thinking they need stars or thinking their highlight film is the way to go, because it's not.
Got a couple questions like that, kind of piggyback off that. Do the kids? Have you seen the kids get a little starstruck working with a Super Bowl winning defensive back, or as most kids, know that you got the resume and they're ready to come in and do the work right off the start?
Well, I don't think they get starstruck. I don't want them to get starstruck because, my time in the NFL is done and over with, and I enjoy being a businessman. I enjoy the game of football, and this is why I created this business to stay around the game because, me staying around football, this is what I do. I'm not a financial guy. I'm not a realtor. That's not who I am. I can evaluate film. I can evaluate a player. That's what I do. And I have a team of guys around me that's really good at doing the same thing. And so, the biggest thing is when we get these kids in, there's no communication from us to them or them to us. They subscribe to the website. They create their profiles and they can put their highlight film on the website just for their peers to see and the colleges to be able to see their My Showcase. But when that evaluation comes, we are, there's no highlight film. We are looking at strictly game film cut-ups, and we're getting to work just so we can help them identify the strengths and weaknesses of their game.
Well, have you heard about this specific pro football league that's starting up next year?
You said it's a what pro football league?
It's called Pacific Pro Football. It's starting in the summer of 2018. I was reading about it today.
What is that?
Here's the basics of it. Here's what I've took down notes to read about. It's going to be 4 teams based out of Southern California, owned by the league, not by individuals. Players have to be in the first 4 years out of high school. It's an alternative to college, but they offer tuition reimbursement to you if you go to school in the off season. They pay every player, no matter what's the best player in the league or the biggest scrub, $50,000 a year. They're going to do 6 regular season games and 2 rounds of playoffs in July and August. So it gives the kids alternative, instead of going to college, which is crazy to me because everybody needs the education. But maybe if they don't, if they can't make it to college, it's like maybe a developmental league for college and the NFL.
Well,
have you heard about that?
I think. Yeah, well, I've never heard about it. This is my first time actually hearing about it. And I mean, as I've said before, it's a $15 billion business for a reason. Just things like this. They're able to go in, and they know a lot of guys aren't going to make it in college. You have guys going JUCO. You have all kind of guys that they're never ever going to make the grade to be able to go to a JUCO, and that's pretty bad. But Nevertheless, that's the reality we live in. We live in where a reality where these kids The best talent is your inner city kids. They're not concentrating on academics. They're concentrating strictly on football. And obviously, we know academics is first. But they're looking at that's another source of revenue for us. I don't know whether to say that's bad or good, but it's crazy. They have crazy minds, and like I said, they are making the money they're making for a reason.
So you think it's a good idea? You think it's a good league?
I mean, I would. That's like I said. I don't know whether to say. I would say, yeah. I mean, if they can make another, because right now they're doing these regional combines and everything else. So I think this is another way to get guys together, another source of revenue. Whether it's if they can get that on TV, you got to look at it. They can make there's some TV ratings, that's fans, that's concessions, that's parking, whatever it may be. And then that's another way. Obviously, you tickets that you're filling up whatever stadium they're going to play in. So I think they're smart. They see the way things are going. Kids are not, you just have some kids that are, I don't mean to be whatever, but they're just plain dumb. They don't care. And I'm like, you know what? I think that they're not dumb. They just don't want to do it. Right. And that's two totally different things. And they don't want to put the work in, and they just feel like, right now, all they want to do is play sports. But it's smart. It's going to be another way, like I said, another source of revenue. And then if it's on NFL Network or whatever it's on, they got ratings.
What scares me is throwing 18 to 22-year-old kids $50,000.
That's scary, but you know what? The biggest thing about it is, go ahead, D.
I would hate to know what I would have done with $50,000 when I was 18 to 22. I'd hate to see what I do with that much at 33, man. So
well, they're going to figure out a way to try to pay them out, to where they're not giving it up all, at one time. So they'll figure out a way to spread it out, and then obviously with taxes and everything else, they ain't gonna make $50,000. But it's almost going, it's better than those, pay to play leagues. So
yeah.
This is a 30 for 30 waiting to happen. I already see it 10 years from now. It's a 30 for 30 waiting to happen. I like the idea, but I don't know. That's scary too. So 3 of your former teams are in the playoffs this weekend, right? Is it 3?
You said 3 the former, so you got the Chiefs, you got the Texans.
No, I'm sorry, 2. Just two. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm about to say there's only 2 of them.
Yeah. So sorry ass Ravens didn't make it, thank God.
Well, he needed a coach, man. Like as I said on my Twitter, I think he could do it, and he didn't. So I already knew it. The fans were surprised, but I wasn't surprised by that.
You're not a fan of the Ravens coach?
No, I mean I'm not, and I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be shy. To say it. I think you look at some of these head coaches. I think he's a bona fide special teams coach. He knows and understands special teams.
Yeah.
He's trying his best to try to learn offense and defense. But I say this, and I want to be. I want to try not to be mean, but you could put any coach in that system. You look at that was a leader-driven team. You look at Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Lily Nadas, all that. Those guys there. That was a leader-driven team, and it was like that since 98, 99. That's how it's been there. And so you could have put any head coach in that position, just the same thing as they said in 2000. You could have put any quarterback at that position. Trent Dilfer was one of the quarterbacks. I think they averaged 7 points, 10 points a game. The defense averaged 10 or 13 points a game.
Yeah.
So everybody said that. So that's just that was the mentality there. And now that he got rid of a lot of that leadership, now he has to step in and coach. He got his guys in. Now he has to make his guys play, and it's just not happening.
Yeah, I agree. I don't follow them a whole lot because I don't like them, but I agree with what you're saying because it's always been a defense has always won there. I agree with what you're saying about the quarterback. I don't know if they could have won with Matt McGloin or Connor Cook like we're having to see in the playoffs this year, but how bad is this to watch? Oh my God, how bad was that Texans Raiders game to watch?
Well, I think it sucks because Carr's been playing his butt off. I respect the P out of him. He's a good player, hard-nosed player. So it sucks to see that team, go down the way they did. Having said that, I think the Texans, they took complete advantage of it. But I think the Texans learned a lesson. You just can't throw $77 million at a guy that plays 7 games. It just ain't happening.
There was a reason John Elway let him go pretty easily, So.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they try to keep him, but they try to keep him for less money. But, I mean, you have to look at every quarterback that has been in Kubiak's system. Every quarterback that has been in his system has done well. When you get out of his system, things don't tend to go their way. You look at the Matt Schaub. You look at, obviously David Carr he wasn't with Kubiak, but you look at just the other guys that played for him, and they just don't do well.
How bad are the Patriots going to beat the Texans this week? If you had
to be perfectly honest, I think because it's playoffs and they know whoever they play for the divisional round, it's going to be a tough game. So I think they score. I think they score 35, 38 points, and they pull starters. I think it can get there. Depending on how tough Houston shows up to play. I don't see Osweiler playing that well. But I see 35, maybe 35 to 10, 35-14 maybe.
Okay. Who you got, Seahawks and Falcons?
Oh, that's going to be a good game. I like Seattle. I think, you got to look at that team. They have veterans on the team. They know and understand. They've been in this position before, Super Bowl twice. They've been playing good ball. They lost one of their leaders on the defensive side, with Earl Thomas, but I think they're still a good enough team to beat the Falcons. I like Matt Ryan, man. I really respect him. He's probably one of the most accurate quarterbacks I've ever played against. I like Julio Jones. That running game is sick, but I think playing in, they will play in. They're playing in Atlanta.
Yes.
Oh, that's going to be a good game. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a 27-24 game, maybe.
Yeah. My question is, what is it? What's different about this Atlanta team? I guess is what I'm trying to say, because every year they have a pretty good regular season. Not in the last couple of years, but they went on that streak where they were pretty formidable. Then in the playoffs they'd be 1-out every year. So what's different this year? You think just they finally gotten together with a new offensive coordinator? Or?
Well, you got to look at just the mentality of that head coach, and then. They got a two-headed monster at the running back position, and that's the first time they've had that in a long time. So, they can run the ball at any given time. Their offensive line has done a good enough job. I don't think they're excellent run blockers as they are. I think they're better pass blockers, but they're going to have a handful with that defensive line, that front seven period, but. I just think Matt Ryan is just clicking. I mean, he's always been good. I just think, he's clicking. Julio Jones is I think he's finally come out of his shell, realized that he can freaking take over a game. Mm-hmm. And I respect him. I've always respected him since his rookie year. Just the guys that they have around them. I think it's going to be good. Defensively, if they attack them, I think if Seattle attack, I don't think they'll be able to hold up just because, they're kind of young, but then at the same time, I don't think they're built. I think they're cut from a different cloth, obviously, playing against that team. But I think it could be a close game. We'll see.
Okay. Steelers at Chiefs.
Steelers at Chiefs. Wow, that's gonna be really good. Yeah. I like it. But at the same time, I don't think Kansas City can handle that run game. You look at going into an environment at Arrowhead, and they're going to run the ball. I don't think they're going to let Big Ben throw it 40 times. I think you take. They're going to have a play-action game going. But Le'Veon Bell, Williams, that two-headed monster out there. I don't think the Chiefs' defense. Once they break that front seven. Even that front four, if they get past that front four, I don't think anybody in that secondary want to hit Le'Veon Bell. No. And then that changeover with Williams is going to be sick.
Imagine what his numbers would be if he quit missing the first 4 games of the year every year.
Well, if he could put that reefer down, you would see.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said it. I think Pittsburgh is too dynamic, man. That's who I picked too. I picked Pittsburgh also. Everybody says I look like Ben Roethlisberger, so I have to always roll with Ben Roethlisberger. Got to be the chubby cheeks or something. I don't know what it is.
That's funny, man.
I've heard it, man. I tell you what, people used to say that, and then I just kind of would take it, for what it was worth. And that was people that I knew. But then I was at a pool party one time, probably 6, 7 years ago, and this guy comes up, and he's like the manager of this apartment complex. And he said, "Damn, we got Big Ben in the house." And I said, "Man, there's got to be something to it." And then I'm at a flag football tournament, just kind of throwing around. They're like, this one guy said, "Oh, we got our quarterback. We already got Roethlisberger back there." And I was like, "Man, what the hell?" I don't know. I don't see it, but, whatever. It could be worse. They could be calling me Eli.
Hey, it's all good. Yeah, you don't want that one.
Yeah. And all right, the network stream matchup at the last game of the weekend, Packers at Cowboys. That'll be a tough one, but
I don't. I look at that, man, and it's going to be in Dallas or Arlington, right?
Yeah, it's in Dallas.
I think, to be honest with you, I think Green Bay upsets them.
Do you?
I think, I mean, maybe, but I wouldn't count Roethlisberger out. I don't know if the one receiver is playing. Is he back with his ribs?
Well, that's what I was talking about on my radio show earlier. I give it to the Cowboys just because I didn't know if Nelson would be back. But you're right, man. Rodgers is a quarterback you can't count out, and I mean that's like a team every year you don't want to face in the playoffs.
Exactly. So I don't know. The reason I'm gonna go with Green Bay is simply because I think I saw a tweet from Dallas. Somebody had retweeted a Dallas tweet or whatever, and they were talking about, fans come on and jump on the bandwagon. This is how many spots we have left. Because I think anytime you get to that point when the team is tweeting that out, the arrogance, and I think it just catches up with you. And we'll see. I think if Green Bay can stop the running game, and unleash those pass rushers at Dak, I think it's going to be a long day for Dallas. I'm not going to count Green Bay out. I'm calling for Green Bay, but I'm not going to be surprised if Dallas wins.
There was a guy that called in my radio show. I do radio for about an hour before I come down here on Wednesdays. And this kid called in and he said, "I want to know what you think about my Cowboys." I said, "I'm just glad they're relevant again." I said, "And the rest of America knows what you guys have known for 15 years. I said, "Because y'all ain't been worth a damn for," well, I didn't say that on the radio. I said, "But y'all ain't been no good for 15 years. And I said, "Y'all was living in the past." I remember, go ahead.
No. I mean, I was gonna say Dallas has actually been the most playoff ready team. They're a good team, man. They've been really good for a long time. But I agree with you. They have been hyped up though.
And I guess it was you probably played. I guess what was it 2 or 3 years ago when they played the Titans on the home opener, and there was this Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I dropped the pick to the crib, man.
Oh man, we there was a kid in front of me, or not a kid, an older man, and he kept on and on. Finally, I was like, "Man, y'all the same 6 and 7 and 9 team, whatever, 8 and 8 team that we are, man." I said, "I don't know what you're looking on the field." I said, "Irvin's not down there, Emma's not down there, and Aikman's not down there." I'm stuttering. I'm pissed off again telling the story. I said,
"It's all good."
I said, y'all ain't nothing, man, until y'all get good again. Just and they were all right, like you said. They've been there, but now they finally put together. And how lucky is it to have a stud running rookie back? See, I can't even talk. I didn't even drink. I swear I didn't drink before this podcast. I'm just a long day, but yeah.
I'm not. You know what? The crazy part, D. I'm not as high. I think the running back is good. I really do. I think he's good. He's behind the best offensive line in the game.
Absolutely.
And so you can put, I think, if you put Alfred Morris back there, which he's on the team, he runs for 1,600 yards. I think if you put Darren McFadden, obviously he was back there last year, he ran for 1,100 yards. So,
right.
They're not losing anything. I just think he's behind the best line. He's a good talent. But if he goes on any other team, I don't know if he does the same thing. The running back that I really like is the Johnson kid from Arizona. Now, he is a stud.
We didn't get to see a lot of him this year. I didn't, at least. And hopefully that leg injury he had the last game of the year is not anything that's going to hurt his season. But maybe they can get some talent around him. They can finally get a quarterback that doesn't look like he's 85 years old and put that team back together.
Yeah, man.
So They got.
I agree 100% with you.
So right now, who's your Super Bowl picks if you had to pick out of that group right there?
I'm going to go. It's going to contradict what I said about the Dallas Green Bay game, but I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going Seattle. I'm going Seattle, New England.
Okay, all right. I'm sure the NFL doesn't want that, but
oh yeah, they don't want that. But I think they're going to do everything. Well, obviously, I don't even know if they even meaning to do it because the rest is so doggone bad. But we'll see.
I can't get you out of here without talking about a little bit. I don't know how much you still like talking about them, but being the homer that I am, I got to talk about our Titans and the turnaround that John Robinson and Mike Mularkey done this year to a winning record for the first time in about 5 years.
You really want me to talk about that, or do you want me to sugarcoat it? Which one? You want me to be real?
I want you. Yeah, I want you to be real. Of course, I want you to be real.
Well, I look at it, and they finished what 8-8,
9-7.
Oh, they finished 9-7.
Yeah, they won that
look
point.
At this, and okay, you look at this, and this year it was some bad football being played, and I mean, I'm calling it how it is. It was some basketball being played. I think I look at it, man, and the Titans took advantage. I think they won some games they shouldn't have won, and then they lost. They lost games I think everybody thought they would lose. So, just all around, they beat Green Bay. Green Bay was just awful, at that point. Chicago gave the game away.
Yeah, they did.
You look at the Detroit game, Detroit, they called, what was it, 3 touchdowns back at one point that they scored.
Yeah.
You look at, what other game was it? The other game they escaped in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
Alex Smith threw 2 red zone interceptions. So that's 4 games right there. So I said that they win in 5 or 6 games. They won 9. So I'm not high. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not high on them. I think it's the same team. They're showing up out there. They got good players, but I still think it's the mentality. The mentality is there, and that mentality of players that are just okay with being okay. And I think, I was there. So this is why I say what I say. I'm not lying on anybody. I'm not calling anybody out. That's why I'm saying players. It's just that overshadows the guys that they brought in. Obviously, Murray is a heck of a talent. He's a good player. They did some good things on the offensive line. They had to run the ball. They had to run the ball however many times they ran it. I think Murray, he did what he was supposed to do. But now you got to look at, next year, can they come in and do that? I don't see them winning 9 games next year. I'm just being perfectly honest with you. This was a bad football year, 2016 to 17 season. It's a bad football season for a lot of teams. And, I think next year will really tell it all. But, everybody's jumping on the Robinson bandwagon. Everybody's jumping on Mularkey. I'm still not there. So we'll see how everything turn out.
When everybody was saying 10 wins before the season, I thought, man, you're crazy. I'm trying to be as optimistic as the next guy, but 10 wins is a little much for this team. And I'm like you, I said 6. So when they got to 9, and I agree, they won some games. But I do feel like, and like I said, you were there, so you know what's in that locker room. And they've tried. I think don't you feel like John Robinson has tried to rid the team of any personalities that are all about me, or maybe that doesn't have that I want to win at all costs attitude? I mean, he shipped out Dorial Green Beckham for a backup guard, or whatever. So don't you feel like he's trying to change the culture there?
Well, I don't know the Beckham kid. I wasn't there with him, so I have no idea what his personality was like. But I know the guys that were there, obviously. So for me, I'm not high on a lot of guys that come from under Bill Belichick. So they label these guys as the next savior. They label these guys as they came from New England, they did this and they did that. Well, I'm not. Belichick made all the calls. Belichick is the man in New England. He did it all. those guys were just there working. I mean, I'm just being perfectly honest with you. They were, they didn't do anything. They didn't make any calls. Belichick did it all. So, I just think, next year it will tell. It's going to tell. If they win 9 games, or if they win 8 games or 7 games, which I see them winning 7 next year just off of seeing their schedule. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm just not high on him. I think Malarkey's a good coach. I don't think his mentality is suited. I don't think it's best suited for the way the league is going right now. And I think they're going to find themselves behind a lot.
Hopefully they'll get a stud receiver, and that'll help a little bit. I think Marcus is going to be a good player. But touch on what you said about the Belichick. Similar situation in the NBA with so many assistant coaches coming from Greg Popovich branch out, and they don't get the same success, and people don't realize it's not just because you can be there for 20 years with the guy, but it doesn't make you Greg Popovich. So
exactly.
Excellent point about that. But I hope you're wrong. I hope they win 10 games next year. But but I do completely understand what you're saying there. So I guess that's about all we had tonight. I just wanted you to plug talk about your program again. I think it's awesome what you're doing. Are you still listening to the Frozen soundtrack any? No. Rio.
No,
Rio. It was Rio, wasn't it?
Rio, you know about the Rio, man. So, no, I haven't, man. I've actually, I've been working so much because, we started another business, me and my boy, Jeremy Hope, man. So we started Mid-10 Elite Performance. So we're actually training high school football players right now, helping them develop them at their position and speed and agility, because it's a need for it. So I have literally I've been swamped, and it's good that I'm busy. My wife, my family, they understand. So my son is with me tonight, man. He's out there throwing the football around, running around. So yeah, man. So I'm doing a lot, man. I got my hands in a lot.
I want to know why we didn't have our birthday dinner. We got a birthday a day apart. Where in the hell was my birthday invite to Nashville?
You said today was your birthday?
No. When's yours? December the what?
December 23rd.
Yeah, see, mine's the 22nd. I don't know why we didn't have a birthday party in Nashville.
Oh, dude, heck yeah, man! You should have let me know. I'd have came out there, man. I'd have bought you a drink.
Yeah, I'd have damn near drunk it. I promise you.
Well, before you get off, do you have any kids coming up through the My Pro Scout that we need to be on the lookout for?
Man, we got right now we got 4 colleges on right now. We got a whole lot of colleges that are testing the site, and we get certified through the NCAA March 1st. So that's the opening of registration. So we're excited about that, bringing on bigger Division I schools. We have some D2, D3, and then high schools right now on the site. So we're excited about that. We got a kid that I'm so high on, Elijah Dreyer from Ravenwood. I got a chance just to see this kid practice and play. He's an exceptional kid, and I've been telling people, I want a white DB so bad, and I want to help train a guy, because, I keep telling him, like, dude, if you don't realize it's not one in the league, not one corner, as far as, there's a couple safeties that play special teams, but, and a couple starters. I think in Minnesota too, they got 2 starters, but, a white safety, man, or a white corner would be, oh my goodness, he would be the man. And so, we got a couple guys that we're training right now, but Elijah Dreyer out of Ravenwood, man, he's a good kid, smart, can play the position. So we're just, we're looking at, getting him some things going, and I'm excited about him. I'm excited for him.
White corner and safety. I've never really thought about the discrepancy in that position of the white man, but I guess you're right, though. I never have really. Can you think of any
in the league?
Crazy. Can you think of any in the league that's had a big impact?
No. I mean, I'm just, you got your Harrison, whatever his name is, from Minnesota. He's a good player. I don't think he's as good as everybody hyping him up to be, but he's a good player. And then the player that plays next to him, I don't even remember his name. I don't. He's not good to me at all. But you got those two, and then you got I think it's a safety in Dallas. They got a Heath or something like that. But I want to get a guy just to help him train, help develop his skill, and just the default that the colleges and NFL, what they see, I want to help. Because we have eyes, we've seen it all. So, when we bring My Pro Scout in and we bring in Mitch and Elite, we've seen it all. We understand it all. We watched the film, and we can help, direct these kids down the right paths, identifying, like I said, their strengths and their weaknesses, and just helping them better themselves. So I'm excited for it.
Well, I'm all for it, man. I support what you're doing, and I'm eager to see that first white corner make it up there. I was going to say it's like a black man in hockey, but PK Saban's ruining that myth. So, hey, man,
well, we appreciate it, man. For all of our listeners out there, you can follow Bernard at CrushBoy31. Go check out My Pro Scout at My Pro Scout, and then you can check out the website at myproscout.com, and that's where they actually go on there to sign up for it and everything, isn't it?
Oh yeah, man! I need to hire you, man. You sitting there giving me plugs like that? I need to hire you.
Hey, I'm available, bro.
Cool beans.
Yeah. Well,
all right, Bernard, I appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thanks, bro.
All right, take care. All right, man. That was Bernard Pollard. That's it's always cool to have Bernard on.
Always a good guest too, man. He's a funny guy. He's a good time.
You want me to be real, or you want me to sugarcoat it? You don't ever want the sugar-coated Bernard Pollard, I promise you.
No.
So that's pretty awesome. So
It is awesome. Good thing he's doing there with that myproscout.com.
Yeah, so it's a pretty innovative,
interesting thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, what do you want to talk about? We got a few more minutes. Do you want to talk about? I'll tell you something that's caught my eye, and I won't talk about it in just a minute. We should ask him. Ice Cube's got a 3-on-3 summer league half court basketball for retired players.
Yeah, like was it Hoop It Up out of Nashville? Is that what they're doing?
I mean, yeah, they're
for pro athletes.
It's going to be 8 teams of 5 players, including an ex-player as the coach.
Yeah,
they're traveling from city to city, or I guess city to city, like a N1 mixtape tour or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's.
That'll be interesting. How did Ice Cube get caught up in it?
Well, it says it's ran by Ice Cube and Roger Mason Jr. I'm thinking he used to be a player, but now he was serving as the deputy executive director of the National Basketball Association Player Association.
Oh,
it's been a hell of a lot easier for me to say NBA PA.
Yeah,
right there. But right now they've got some pretty notable guys.
He ought to be able to pull plenty of people too if he's been over the Players Association.
That and I mean Cube's a big. I mean, he's a Lakers fan for.
His name's as big as anybody in the league.
Oh yeah. So some names you'll definitely recognize: Kenyon Martin, Steven Jackson,
I love Kmart.
Jermaine O'Neal. It's the wrong O'Neal, but we'll take him, I guess. Rashard Lewis, Jason Williams, who he's probably my favorite player on this list, and Chauncey Billups. 2 coaches right now. It's going to a lot bigger name than any of the players, but Gary Payton and Allen Iverson.
Payton is amazing. Payton should be coaching in the NBA somewhere. Yeah,
I mean, he's Gary Payton's one of my favorite NBA
I don't know
personalities.
About Allen Iverson coaching.
Well, they never have practice. Allen Iverson. I mean,
just show up and play.
I didn't even mean for that to be a joke. It's just
just the way it is. Hey, that's neat, man. There's a lot of good stuff coming up right now with that, and then the Pacific Pro League. That's some neat stuff happening.
That NBA thing kind of excites me because even when guys hang it up, you can still play some 3-on-3 half court. You can't go full court for 48 minutes. You can't go, 4 games and 5 nights or back-to-back nights. Man, these guys right here I seen Jason Williams playing in a league in Orlando. He's still giving guys the business, but throwing stuff off his elbow, passes off his elbow, and I mean, I don't know, Steven Jackson, Kenyon Martin. I mean, every one of those guys on that list had a good career. Rashard Lewis at one time was a $120 million player.
Kenyon Martin's the reason I stopped watching basketball when he broke his leg playing for Cincinnati. I loved watching him. He broke that leg, and it turned my stomach, and I never watched another game just that I went to watch.
That was
rough.
17 years ago.
Oof.
So the Bonnaroo lineup.
Oh, the lineup's announced, yeah.
To me, it gets, and I don't know if it's where I get older every year.
Yeah.
But it gets worse every year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
U2.
Yeah, I hate that band.
I was so pissed when U2 ended up on everybody's iPhone.
That was the dumbest thing ever. They thought they're so good, they're just going to give their record to everybody because they know everybody wants it.
Nobody wants. I was at the gym working out, and I called Lindsay, and I said,
"What you download on my phone?"
I said, "Did you download damn U2 on my phone?" She goes, "I don't know who the hell U2 is."
Yeah,
because tidbit about my wife, if before we met, if it didn't happen in Salina, she'd know who they were. Hank Williams Jr.'s who?
Who? Yeah, Bono. Bono probably just thought he was doing everybody a service like he likes to run around and do.
He's
awful.
That'd be the one I'd skip from.
Yeah.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, I'd probably go watch.
That ain't bad.
couple of rappers.
Courtney
here.
Love went bad on Anthony Kiedis a couple times, kind of blew up his spot and said he's never sung a song that somebody didn't have to clean up. His vocals are awful, apparently, in real life. I don't know that to be a fact, but Courtney Love kind of threw him under the bus.
Sometimes you got to consider the source.
That's true. Courtney Love.
She's the hottest mess
Ever.
I don't even talk about nobody on my own podcast. I don't have to talk about a couple rappers. The Weeknd, Chance the Rapper. Then literally, I've heard of Travis Scott. I've heard of Margot Price down here towards the bottom. Man, and I've never really heard of any of these. I'm sure Clint Fraley will be like, oh,
Who are they?
Major Lazer, Flume, Lorde. I don't know.
Well,
The Double X, Cage the Elephant.
Lorde, she's that girl that was so big from New Zealand or Australia back a few years ago, right?
Good story.
Yeah, and then Cage the Elephant, they were pretty big. They've had a couple of big
I've
songs.
heard of them.
Yeah.
Marshmallow, The Head and the Heart. It's the stupid name I've ever heard in my life. Big Gigantic, Glass Animals. Do you keep going with this?
Well, yeah. Major Lazer had, no, I'm just forget about it. I'm serious.
Glass Animals, Future Island, Tory Land. Stupid. No, another stupid name. Crystal Castles, Humphrey McGee. I have heard Clint Frey talk about them a lot. Milky, Chance, Yellow Claw. I mean, is this a contest?
I would say that's a lot of electronic music, sounds like.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad they're kind of going back to their roots, it looks like.
Yeah, I think Major Lazer was had some commercial success there for a little while. I can't remember what the name of their song was. But anyway, like you said, they're going back to their roots, getting back to less well-known.
And Fraley went back to his roots. He returned. I think he might have. I don't know if he skipped a year, but he's not doing the whole 3-4 days anymore. He's like picking one day to go.
Yeah,
and he's checking out one day.
That's probably enough.
my 4 days of Bonnaroo was enough back in the day. After I tried to hang with them all night, the two I went with Clint and Dusty, and they had griped about the person who went with them the year before being such a poonanny about not being able to hang. So it's 5:45, and I'm still up trying to prove my toughness, and they're lighting my shoes on fire. I'm like, look, can I get 2 hours here?
Just let me have a nap.
Just let me close my eyes for a minute.
Yeah.
And then I pass out. The last show of the weekend was Dave Matthews, and I do not like Dave Matthews.
So he'd sing me right to sleep.
Yeah, and I passed out in a camping chair, and Clint had a blow-up sheep, and I think bad people done bad things with me and that sheep and a $3.67 Jazz throwaway camera from Walmart. I hope never gets developed.
Yeah.
And I paid $7 for showers. It was a pretty traumatic 4 days.
Not my cup of tea, bro.
No, but I saw Stevie Wonder, I saw Jay-Z, I saw Jamie Johnson, Randall Lambert, John Fogerty.
It's a lot better lineup than what they've got coming up.
Man, Chris Christopherson, Weezer. Oh man, it was awesome. Cross Canadian Ragweed, 3 months before they broke up. So forgot my own favorite band. So yeah, man. So
good deal.
Anything else you want to talk about before we?
Well, just something I was hoping we'd bring up with Pollard, Johnny Manziel. I know we bring him up.
Shoot, you had that marked off for me.
Yeah.
So the backstory on this is, Lucas, Johnny Manziel is going to be in town for Super Bowl, whatever
number it is, 50.
Selling pictures and autographs. You know when your career's hit the shitter?
It's when you're having to charge people for autographs.
Well, I mean, no, that's
Lonely Virgil going to be sitting up right beside
Lonely Virgil from WWF fame, $1 Million Man Servant. No, I mean, autograph things that are like, you see all these shows all the time. These prices are what you'd see at a show almost, or probably a little less, actually. But I mean, so let's get this straight. It's not like the Fanatics out of Chicago. They have big shows every year. All these autograph signs where there's like Jerry Rice and Emmitt Smith sitting down 2 booths from him.
Yeah.
He's
by himself.
Somebody's bringing him in. It is established.
Yeah. So $50 for a selfie.
Yeah. I know stalkers in Nashville that are upset about that.
Yeah. $99 pro pic. That's ridiculous.
Like a professional guy's gonna come out and put you in a little green backdrop or something.
What's a $99
autograph?
Oh, autograph.
For him to write Johnny Manziel on
and then an additional $29 to get an inscription of up to 4 words.
So,
you go, bud.
I love the cocaine.
Yeah. My career's done.
I snorted up my last contract. That's over. See, that's over 4 words. So you couldn't get that for $29. So best of luck to that.
Yeah.
That
go out there
hot mess that's Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. Take $58 out there and get him to inscribe something.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck, Johnny Manziel, getting
Yeah.
all that straight and not being the next Lonely Virgil.
I hope he is the next Lonely Virgil.
It's happening, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. So,
Yeah.
anything else we got to
That's
talk
it.
about? We went 5 minutes over the allotted hour and a half that everybody's fiending for.
Well, I've got a baby crying upstairs too, so I think we better go ahead and cut it and go up there and let me see what he needs.
Yeah, well, thanks again to Amber and Bernard, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
And Justin Wells too. See everybody.